Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I am up here because a lot of what happened to our brother, he don't remember. So everybody knows I'm not a doctor, but I'm just going to lay it in what we was told, So on September 23rd, our brother and his awesome friend, Miss Nasty, wave your hand, Miss Nancy, everybody know that she was involved in a domestic violence attack. And so when we found out, somebody called her daughter Tara, raised her hand, Tara, let us know what had went down and everything. But I'm gonna make a long story short. But he was stabbed in his neck, in the back, and over here, in chest, and all those places. And Miss Nancy was stabbed in the back, and she's a survivor also, praise the Lord. Praise God. But Robert had a very, very severe injury. When it went down into his neck, it didn't just damage it, it severed it, cut it half in two. Okay, his artery that pumps the blood to his brain and his heart, just cut it in half. And it did so much damage down in there. But God is so good. When they took him to the core, he was still conscious. After losing all that blood, he was still conscious. When they airlifted him to North Georgia Medical Center in Gainesville, the doctor told us that he was still conscious. And that alone is a miracle because they did not expect him to live through that. So the doctor told us, he was such a nice man, even all the trauma was to his body. He was such a nice man, a good patient to work on. But Junior, we call him Junior, they medically induced him because the doctor first told us, it was like a long, tedious operation. They really didn't know whether they could really do anything like that or not. But when he came out about 4 or 5 o'clock that morning, he said that we've done all we can do. We can't do nothing else. It's all up to him. If he make it through the night, then maybe he can make it through another night. So Dorothy told him, she said, okay. She said, God said, well, you done all you can do. To stand still and see the glory of God. Hallelujah. That's what we did. We stood on God's word. And I remember, we human, we was all tore up and everything, but we still told God, in our humanness, we all tore up, but that's our brother. And I remember I told Betty, I said, we can't do this again. We can't do this. We cannot go through this again. And that Sunday when we came back to church, then when our pastor prophesied, one of y'all said, you can't do it again. And then Paul looked at one another and we said, Lord Jesus. Oh, wow, just like he was right there. And so they had to go down here, and they had to cut way down in here. And then they couldn't put the artery back where it was. They had to reroute it somewhere else. So he was unconscious for, after they medically induced him, it was so much this after this, sugar, the blood, the clots, and all that kind of stuff. So he was induced for a month. Even when they began to bring him medically out, he still wouldn't wake up. He still was just out, So then we all started getting word, but we were still whispering the word of God in his ear. God is a healer. God is this. Believe it. We were just speaking that word over him day and night. Because we were spending the night down there, day and night. And so we did that, and he was just laying there, so. And then he started having seizures. And just they don't know where the seizures come from. He swelled up so big, they could not find an MRI machine to put him in. The MRI machine was like something like, I think it was 62. He was so big around here, he was like 72. They couldn't even fit him in there, he was so swollen. And so after that, they was worried about him having brain damage because of the lack of oxygen to his brain and blood to his heart. And so they came in there, the doctor, the brain surgeon came in there, and they wanted to test to see if he have any brain wave. So when they hooked him up to that machine, and they was looking out, asked the lady, I said, is anything going on? There was no brain activity. No brain activity. She was telling me like, you could be some brain damage, you may not know who nobody is and all this. And I'm like, oh God, so we went on like that. So after they left, I started praying. And so then when they came back in there again, she said, it's a little bit, but not much, just a little bit. I said, all we need is just a little bit. Just a little bit, you know. And then you go to where God is, He gonna know us, and this, that, and the other. But all the time, you know, we'll come back to what God said. What God said, because we had to stand on the word for our brother. We had to be faithful in standing the gap for him. And so when they began to wake him up, you know, he was slow. It took a long time. I guess he was just in a coma about a month or so. But as they slowly began to wake him up, we would talk to him, and he began to make little moves, you know. So we said, all right, there's a little sign. Make little moves like that. But he was very, very seriously injured. He couldn't walk, and they had to put him on life support because, you know, he couldn't do nothing on his own. He couldn't use his hands. He couldn't use his feet. He was just laying there, you know. And so, but God did such a miraculous work in him. So they finally got him, you know, he woke up and he knew people, he knew us, and we were so excited. He didn't have brain damage, God showed us that he is a miracle. They finally got him situated. So they still had to send him to Athens rehab to wean him off the breathing machine. And so once they got him down there, they was after a while they still couldn't walk or anything, couldn't talk, and he was so anxious to talk, and he trying to mumble his lip because Dorothy and Alice and Jackie, they can understand. I said, you got the wrong one here with you today. You might as well hush because I don't know nothing you saying. But he was just so excited about what the Lord had done for him. And so after they read him off the track in Athens, finally we were so excited to read him off the track, weaned him. So then they sent him to Atlanta to rehab. And he began to rehab there. So what you're looking at now is just a product of a miracle of what God has done. Nothing short of a miracle. Keep him in your prayers because he's still going through little minor things, but he's breathing. And I tell you, you know everybody, you know he's doing great. So I'm going to let him say whatever he wants to say.
A lot of people said that I wasn't supposed to be here today. But I tell them that I had so many prayers coming out of Stephen County and Hart County that the doors of death wouldn't open. I want to thank everybody that prayed for me. And when I did get conscious, I had this big thing under my neck. It felt like I had a dog collar choke. When I woke up, I snatched all that off. And I got talking to my sister. I told her to tell Pastor Fred that I need to talk to him. Well, he was in there the next day after I had told my sister that I needed to talk to him. He was in there the very next day. When I found out what happened to my friend and Nancy Fred, I had a lot on my heart because things didn't turn out the way they did. A lot of that I don't remember. I think God don't, because I feel like he gave me a clean slate to start over. If you don't remember the bad things, it only leaves you to make good things. But I got stabbed in the chest and in the back, but I never was in no pain. I never felt no pain. Like you could get stabbed, some people holler. I don't remember that. But they say I walked from our apartment down to my neighbor's apartment, sat on the porch, still conscious. And every beat of my heart was pumping out of blood out of the 2 holes I had in me.
Wow.
So I don't remember none of that. They said I stood up and walked off the porch and tripped over the rose bush. Now this part I do remember to plain today. I was standing up straight, and I looked down at the ground, and I saw my own body laying. But it wasn't moving. It didn't. And for that instant there, I saw that. And then I don't remember riding from that scene to the hospital. I don't remember being on a helicopter flying the game. All that is gone from my memory. I just woke up one day and I thought I could walk. But then one of the nurses, as soon as I sat up in that bed, the nurse was in there on me. And they asked me, so, Mr. Maxwell, where you going? I told them I'm finna go home. They said, no, you can't go home. You've been asleep for, they said 9 weeks. I don't remember, I don't know. And they said, if you stand up, you're gonna fall flat on your face because you don't have the strength in your leg no more. And I couldn't believe it because I could still wiggle my leg. And every time they leave out, I try to get up. They go right back in there. And this nurse, I remember just as good, she took my legs and slung them in the bed. I looked at her, I said, ooh, you're a strong one. She slung me so hard, and I thought I bounced off the back wall. I said, you're a strong one. But every time I sat up on that bed, they was in there. But where they come from, I really don't know. But they wouldn't let me get off that bed. I'd sit up. Until finally, she had 2 guys put a belt around me. And they stood me up and they showed me, said, walk then if you think you can walk. And my leg was just dragging. And I said, okay. I ain't gonna take much to know that. I stopped trying to get up out the bed because they proved to me that I wouldn't be able to walk. When they transferred me from there to Emory, I couldn't walk. The trach was just battered out my throat. And I had to learn how to walk again. The things I learned as a baby, I had to learn all over again. At Emory, I learned to walk again, but talk. I had to learn to eat again, without getting choked on my food. So then Pastor Fred came, and he pulled up a chair and he sat with me for at least 2 or 3 hours. And I felt such a burden on my chest because I didn't protect my friend. Because her husband drug out my house and Nancy's apartment up in the woods and stabbed her and killed her. And I felt like that all was on me. And Pastor Fred said, it wasn't on me. It was God taking her out of that abusive relationship. Because every time he get drunk, he would jump on her. And the only way she could get away from him was the Lord take her. And they say that Jesus knows what you're going to do before you do it. And I said to myself, Lord, did I have to go through all this for me to change my life? I said, could you just show me a burning bush? He said to me, the only thing you're going to do is go in the kitchen and get some water and try to pour on it. But it took all of this to make me realize that I wouldn't say my life that I was living was a bad life, because I was fireman 20 years and I had friends. And I told him, I said, if you protect my sons from this that happened to me, because I didn't want to do no retaliation. And then all I had to go through, I couldn't have made it. My sister, them, I love them to death because they was there for me. And Nancy and Tara and all of my family was there for me to do that. I told the Lord, I said, I was sitting, I had my therapist that brought me back to my room, and it was a beautiful day. And I had her to push me over to the window. And I was sitting there, and I was thinking, I said, it took this to happen to me to clean slate in my life.
Right.
Amen.
And I said, Lord, I'm going to try your way. Because my way almost got me killed. And Pastor Fred told me one time that it's hard to be a Christian. You know, Christians have to live one day at a time. Because you're still subject to the ways of the world. And so far, I did pretty good. I just know I got to take it one day at a time. But I want to thank you all for praying for me. And I'm doing good. We both are doing good. And thank y'all all.